Christians Who Drink Whiskey and Their Open-Minded Friends is brought to you by Funny&Amen. If you want to support this podcast and haven't seen any of our other content, head over to our page at patreon.com/funny-and-amen. For just $2 a month, you can watch our podcast a whole week early and see exclusive stand-up comedy that can't be seen anywhere else. For only $5 a month, you'll have access to the podcasts, the stand-up, and behind-the-scenes content, exclusive first looks at new comedy projects we're working on, and bonus, we're going to send you a t-shirt. Head to patreon.com/funny-and-amen to see all we have to offer. That's patreon.com/funny-and-amen. Welcome to Christians That Drink Whiskey and Their Open-Minded Friends. I'm Kevin Hackenberg, and my guest today, Bryan Kyle Atkins. Bryan and I have known each other for a little while.
Yeah, a nice amount of time, Kev. 2000 and I want to say 4.
Oh, I think it was before that. Well, we can look it up on IMDb because I believe we met on a movie set. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
We worked together officially in 2004. We met in 90-something.
Oh, cool. That's our first entree into collaborating.
Yeah.
At the high end of the spectrum.
When you allowed me into your genius world, yeah, since 2004.
That's why I have Bryan on the show to boost up my ego. We're gonna talk a little bit, but can I pour you a glass?
Yes.
What we got today?
Let's do this. When you share with me what the idea and the entire concept of the show was, I wanted to bring in something that was on theme. Game of Thrones worked with Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker, they make Scotch whiskey. They have Johnny Walker White, Black, Blue Label, etc. So they teamed up with the Game of Thrones and HBO to come up with the Game of Thrones themed bottle. This is, when room temperature, it appears one way. When you refrigerate it, the Johnny, who I call Johnny Walker on the cover, he changes his appearance, and it's tied to the theme of the show. So, not to say that you should go out and purchase it on your own. I'm not endorsing it, but it is pretty fun. So I brought that since it was about production.
That's awesome. And lest you think that you are already had too many at home, Bryan brought these other glasses for us to make sure we're well hydrated. And if you turn them, you might start feeling a little woozy. No, these are cool glasses. They defy. If you pour the water all over to the top, will it fall over?
No, but it's leaning in the cup though.
It's leaning in the cup.
If when you pour it, the water is also on an angle.
Look, can I
I'm trying to see if he hasn't started drinking yet.
Can I put something over here to make these kind of balanced?
There you go.
There we go. That's better for the camera. That's the art of cinema.
Just fix it in post.
That's how we do in post. All right. Water.
It's actually leaning the wrong way.
Cheers, water.
It was leaning the wrong way. It's all right.
That's weird.
And to production, to friends, and to podcasts.
Hydrating. You drinking on this side or that side?
That's what you can kind of do whatever feels right.
All right, let's pour yourself some.
Let's get some Johnny Walker.
Name of the show, whiskey.
So what we're doing is we don't on this show we don't want to. Okay, we don't want to cut it with any ginger ale, but as I said it and as he poured it. Oh yeah, that's cool. That works.
That works.
We're gonna sip. We're just gonna take our time. It's a gentleman's scotch. We're just gonna take it easy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So
talk to me.
The name of the show, Christians Drink Whiskey. So this is good. Let's put the cap back on that and let's have a little whiskey. I'm excited about this show because I enjoy. There's people who have vices.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations in advance, by the way.
That feels good.
Yeah, right? That's another toast. And to production, to friends, and to podcasts.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
To more than 12 viewers. To this podcast having as many viewers as some of the stuff we're going to talk about, but you've directed.
Let's do it. Yes. Yeah.
So Bryan and I met each other on a movie set.
Yes. The movie was entitled Beloved, shot here in Philadelphia. And it was shot over a time span of about 9 months, maybe. And during that time, I started off for the first 2 months as a production assistant before photography started getting the production office and stuff set. So with that said,
I didn't know. I never knew that you were just what were you doing in the office, like making copies?
We were in the at
copies?
the time it was the Civic Center, and I had literally a broom, a mop, and filling dumpsters because we had to make it ready for the production teams to come in and set up offices.
Oh.
So we were literally mopping and sweeping and filling dumpsters with trash and everything. So
that's right. I forgot about that.
I was getting coffee. I was getting donuts for the Teamsters. I was getting chips and hot chocolate and everything. So that was my thing.
Man has started doing it, making it.
Yeah, man. I wanted it so bad, though.
Yeah,
I wanted it. I wanted it bad. So when I learned about how the production team was going to ramp up, I ran into the assistant camera, the head of the camera department at the time, and he needed assistance with unloading these cargo bins that had come in from the airport. It had all of this production gear, but my job was to help him unload. Go get your hands dirty. So through my conversation with him, I found an opportunity to help fill a void, and then I was on set and just had to leave that one role and to be with the shooting crew.
That's right. Well, you were upstairs working in the productions with production at first, and then with camera.
Yeah.
I was downstairs working with the construction grips, pushing a broom with our friend Craig.
I was still getting your orange juice, iced tea, and breakfast.
They were some good donuts.
You're welcome.
Someone's got to do it. So yeah, we worked on Beloved. I remember you more from when the shooting started, being around the camera crew.
Yeah, because that was
me
my
being
role.
me being a little bit jealous. I'm like, how do I get to be with the camera department?
Well, you had to sweep up some dead birds from the Civic Center a couple times. So, but with that one, it was an amazing experience because I had already had an understanding about production and what it took to get movies done.
Yeah.
But to be on set every day for 9 months with Danny Glover and Oprah Winfrey. And it was the production team was Jonathan Demme and a series of other luminaries behind the camera. But for that, it really helped me grow to understand early not to be too overwhelmed or impressed by celebrity.
Yeah.
So by being around Oprah at the time, it's kind of like, these are some named people. So to have had that opportunity to kind of get accustomed to being around her on a daily basis and first name basis and for so long, anybody that I met or had an opportunity to work with after that was you just have a unique job. You just have a
Does
cool
she still
role.
call you and harass you like?
No, but I'm going to tell you something. I don't tell many people this, but I graduated from college around the time we were wrapping up. So I was able to work it out with the professors for me to work remotely with some last minute things I had to type at the school. Oprah would oftentimes drop gems and say, Bryan, what's your favorite thing you like to eat? I'm like, you know what I like, and I explained what it was. She said, have that as often as you want. And I was thinking but I might get tired of it. But through more conversation, she was just saying that life is too short. If you like something, go after it, attain it, because you've got to surround yourself with the things that make you happy. Do that and pursue it because it will satisfy you. But one of the things that I don't talk about much, she said, Bryan, when this production's over, what are you going to do next? I was like, well, I want to, shoot commercials or be involved in production. And she was like, no, really, what do you want to do? I was like, oh, wow. Just because you're on a movie now, when those lights go off and the house lights come up and the equipment's gone, what are you going to do? You got to ready your next element. But for me, I was still young. Everything was happening like this, and I'm surrounded by all this. But she was still letting me know, and we're going to be done in about a month. What are you doing? But then when I was older, I was thinking the answer should have been, I really want to move to Chicago and work for you. I want to work at Harpo, and it's been a goal of mine for some time. And if there were an opportunity provided me and awarded me, I would jump on the next flight to Chicago to work for you. That's what I should have said. But I was too young. No cap. But at the time, that wasn't what the Lord had for me.
So many. It's fascinating.
I'd have been miserable in Chicago.
When you look, well, it's too cold.
In that capacity. Yeah, but I'd have been back to sweeping floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
Who knows?
Who knows? But the Lord knows.
Yeah.
And that wasn't my path.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't go to Chicago because my life wouldn't be what it is and where it is, and I wouldn't be surrounded by those same people.
Yeah.
Who's to say who those people would be? But I am happier. I think that I am among the happiest human beings that I know.
Have you ever like had? So we're talking about those moments. Like you replay. Do you replay? Are you like me? Are you nuts like I am? Do you replay those moments in your head sometime? Like
From
when
that
you're like, when I hired you to do like some like job, you're like, oh, Kevin's off. Why am I doing this job? Or vice versa. Or when you're having that moment, you're like, if I could time travel back, if I had said that to Oprah, where would my life be? You ever think about that? Do you ever like kind of
not
like,
if it's negative.
Not if it's negative.
Not if it's negative. If it's a positive thing, the Beloved specifically was a very unique time because there hasn't been a production like that. Even of my own, there have been some warm and fuzzies. You shoot for a week together and you become a family. But that was something else. It was on a whole.
It was a big for us as our careers. Yeah. That was a pretty big, long production.
Yeah. Sometimes I've said yes to shoots where I regret it later, but then I just realized how some people would love to have my problems.
Yes.
So then
we're blessed.
So then I'm just kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna be all right. I'll be all right.
We're very blessed.
Yeah, but now to fast forward to things, I'm not big on social media because I don't like to tell people no, because I love to shoot. I love to shoot, but I don't shoot or get involved with the production now if I don't feel like I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
I reached the point of like, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy that. I'm gonna sit that one out.
Yeah.
But I usually say yes. If it's big money, a little bit of money, or pro bono, like I'll consider it.
Yeah.
But I think I've got to have a good time because having a good time is still a form of currency.
That's a good one. Having a good time is a form of currency because you're getting to experience joy without having to like earn money to go spend money to get that joy.
Yeah, it's like if I'm involved in what you're doing, am I going to be able to bring my A game and be glad that I'm part of what you're doing? Or am I going to have these restrictions and restraints and barriers and I can't do me and still be there? I'll be like, nah, the game is on Sunday too. The game is on. I could sleep in. I got my own projects to do. Yeah. I got invoices to send, but I'm going to carve out time to rock with you.
You still owe me a couple invoices, by the way.
Yeah. And
you never send your invoices. I want to pay you. I want to bless you.
God is good, Pav. God is good.
Then if that's the case, then don't send me.
Let him keep blessing you. Yeah, but I do. But that's another part of business that we'll touch in.
Let's transition to you said something I wanted to say, like, who is you? You said if someone calls me and I have a project that says, this is me. Let's talk about that in a second. Let's transition to our friend Craig Simpson.
A.K.A. Big Cool.
Big Cool. Craig, while you were pushing brooms, I was downstairs. Craig and I were downstairs pushing brooms for the grip department. Yeah. And Craig was talking about, like, cinema.
Cinema.
You know cinema. You know Craig's cinema. But then he reintroduced us a few years later.
Yeah.
You were hanging out with Common, but you had a project, and we worked on this project. You said that was 2004?
Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah. I think it was 2004.
We started collaborating on like a lot of music videos.
So after Beloved, I started to work with The Roots, who were the band that are originally from Philadelphia.
Can you explain who The Roots are? I don't know.
The Roots is this band.
If you don't know who The Roots are, turn on
a
TV late night, all right?
So I was fortunate enough to be responsible for a lot of their behind-the-scenes content, shooting stuff with them in the studio. They would go on tour on the road, and I would be with them.
They were doing content.
Oh yeah,
they were doing content before content was king, you know?
Yeah, I was on that. I was in that lane before that lane was truly established. Before internet was like, okay, we've got broadband, we've got high speed, we've got, there's YouTube, you can click and watch any video. They recognized the importance and the significance of having that content. So I went on tour with Common for an album he had. It was entitled Like Water for Chocolate. He was on MCA Records at the time, so we went on tour for a month throughout the United States. And that was the beginning of my long-standing relationship with him. But after that album was done, there was another album or two we toured the world. And when I came back, there was an opportunity to do an independent artist's music video. That's when Craig Simpson connected us, because I needed someone to help really steer this puppy of lighting and cameras, and I needed like a co-genius. I felt pretty
co-genius. That's great.
I felt pretty confident, so I needed somebody else to really truly be able to help pilot that. And when he said that, don't think about anybody else, don't call anybody else. If you don't talk to my guy Kevin, I'm gonna hook you guys up. But if you don't talk to him, you've already failed. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. What's his last name? Hackenberg. What's his name? What's a Hackenberg? How do you spell it? So anyway,
Aukenberg.
Yeah.
Kevin Aukenberg.
So yeah, from that first meeting, we were on the same page.
Yeah,
and
man,
I think
good time.
I wonder if one of the things that helped, did it help that I was prepared? What was it that had it make sense for you? Not that you needed a new client.
It was a music video.
Okay.
I graduated from college and I wanted to just do music videos.
Okay.
I love music. The art form of the music video.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably the purest thing to find art mixing video.
Point.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Well,
you need some more ice. We'll get that at the break. We'll get more ice at the break.
The music video. So I graduated college and had a love for fine art imagery, and had a love, because of being on movie sets, had a love for the camp likeness. The team. Well, it's camp. You know, you're like with these people for a month for a low budget movie. Beloved.
Right. Oh my God.
Half of a year.
Right.
Maybe more. And the camaraderie of that, and so right around that time, I had experience doing fine art photography, and I had experience doing cinema,
the video side,
and I got a taste of both enough as a career, and I was like, I got to make a decision. Do I want to go into the lonely art of photography?
Right.
Where it's just you.
No disrespect.
No disrespect. Well, for me, I was.
For the guys who don't like the moving images.
No. I was like, there's a more pure art form there in the photography side. For an independent artist. But for I love cinema. There's an art there too, but it's a team sport. Filmmaking is a team sport all the way through. And so I had to make this decision early on, and be like, which am I going to pursue? And I decided to go for maybe for the social side of it.
Okay.
I decided to go for for the cinema. So music videos were like this perfect combination.
Okay, well, you can merge those two worlds.
Yeah, because there's no rules. There's no storytelling rules or dialogue rules, or like it can just be images after images, and you can just go for.
So it's not like you found your happy place was in that lack of formal structure.
It could be formal like a story, or it could be just image based. And there was also the music side of it. I love music, so I think if music videos merged that together. So at the beginning of my career, when there was a music video industry that you could actually
I'll take it. I don't care what his name is.
Pay your mortgage.
He doesn't even have to know how to pronounce my name. Yes,
yeah, you can pay your mortgage off of the music video business back then. That's where I was like aiming towards. So Craig said music video. I said let's do it. I remember Bryan from Beloved. Let's get together. And then I had some tools.
You did. I
had some tools to get the job done.
You had tools that were difficult to get your hands on at the time.
Yeah.
But those are the things I think that's when, when things are in alignment. You can't plan that. You can't structure. We're right here in the same city. I think at some point our paths would have crossed, but not in the way that it did. Because even from that one project, it still holds up, and I think it's because there was an opportunity where preparedness and hunger just met that opportunity. Because her budget was.
She had a budget? Did we get paid for this?
No, that's why I'm trying to think. I remember I bought the pizza. It was no budget. Yeah, I paid for the video.
I was just talking to Kalani Davis. I got a photo that's still in my.
That was that same job. We shot that at.
Yeah. It's just like Kalani pushing the push. No, we the shot I have of me and Kalani. Yo, Kalani Davis. is outside on the corner. She's standing in front of this old building, very like a corner building. So it's got that the right architecture.
We were in the bottom. We shot that at like 39th and like Powelton or something. We needed security. Oh, we shouldn't have been out there. We wouldn't be out there now.
That neighborhood's.
I wouldn't be out there now. But then it was art. It was gorgeous. The whole piece was really nice. I had a lot of support from a lot of the people from the Roots crew to utilize some locations. And
that was our first project in
it was great.
What we call the Twin Tower phase.
Absolutely. You know what? I tell people even today when we go on shoots, I say that. I say, I go back with Kev. He's created some of his best works have been with me. And if you go back and click a couple links, click a couple links, it holds up because I mean from there. Whenever there's an opportunity for me to do something at a commercial level that I know it's gotta like hit hard, where I know I don't want to do everything, I gotta call you. Yeah, and that's with a lot of things. Now over time, as equipment has gotten smaller and faster, and sensors have gotten better, and lenses are incredible, I have had to wear more hats. Yeah. You know, because if you know how to shoot, you should know how to edit. If anyone wants to get into the industry now, I would say learn how to edit before you do much of anything, because anybody can shoot it, but not everybody can put it together. And if you can shoot it, how are you going to put it together? So if you can be an editor, you're likely going to allow yourself that avenue to be a good storyteller. And if you're a good storyteller with a camera that you can afford, if you invest in yourself, whatever you shoot, you can at least put it together. And the more you can put these two worlds together, then you master lighting, and you master audio, you get people around you. So that part I feel like super confident with. So there have been some projects where I know I need Kevin, but Kevin is busy. But I could trust myself. And I know I'm already so prepared that I can jump in and be like, if I get in trouble,
that one video,
I'll just drink some Johnny Walker.
Shot part of it, I believe, for Maimuna?
Lamont Saunders. Oh wait, no.
No.
It was a couple. It was a couple ones that you started.
Hear me out.
And I had to finish it because you were like, "That's 8 hours, B." And I'm like, "All right, Kev, I'm good."
It wasn't one of those where I was like, "I'm tired." Right. There was another one.
Yeah, it was
that you showed me like the final shot for, and it was like outside.
That
like
was my one.
Fall.
Yeah. I tilted down from the trees.
And it was so gorgeous with the yellow leaves.
You were like,
it reminded me of a Japanese film where they just use color in this like vivid way. Mm-hmm. And it was so beautiful. I was just like, you know that cinematographer jealousy that pops up. You're like, I wish I made that image for Bryan.
That's crazy.
I was thinking like, whoever made that image for Bryan.
There were a couple things.
He's not going to hire me again. And then it turned into UBU. I'm like, is he ever going to hire me again? He just do it on himself because he looks so good.
I appreciate that, man. But we drove around looking for what could work. And, you know, when the spirit hits you, there is no wrong answer.
It was gorgeous.
And I'm like, pull over. We're in Rock Creek Park in Maryland. I was like, pull over. And we'd already been circling and canvassing the block for about maybe 15 minutes. They were looking at me like, B, what are you waiting for? Like, I don't know what I'm waiting for, but we haven't passed it yet. Yeah. So when we got out, and I still wasn't that familiar with that camera system at the time, but I knew enough about enough. Yeah. So I appreciate that, man, because I was thinking I was just out here.
It's like Japanese film gorgeous, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do appreciate it.
Japanese film gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know what that means. So let's talk about millions, because we were talking about some of these cats here.
Simple numbers. Yeah.
Bryan was telling me that.
You asked me how many views had a particular video.
How many views did this video have? He's like 7, and I'm like, there's like 38,000 people that gave it a thumbs up. So that's a lot. That's one person. That's 7 people clicking like a lot of times.
But what I shared with Kevin, I said, fortunately, we're at the point in our careers where when he asked me 7, I'm talking about 7 million. Like, I'm not thinking like 7 or 7,000 or 700. But thank you. But so like, if you'd asked me about Jason, I'd said, oh, this one that's actually at 13, and it's at 13 million.
Jason
Nelson for the song entitled "Forever."
Nice.
Each of them have had #1 Billboard hits, and they've done very well. But the two things to touch on with that is you can't.
That's why I'm behind the camera.
Yeah, I've grown to not get too caught up in just like the celebrity component. I've had an opportunity to travel a lot, meet a lot of people, and have those popular people be friends of mine personally. And and it's cool stories and stuff. So that, coupled with the numbers that you get with likes or views, I can't put any value too much in that, because you're doing it for the work. Whether you're the only person who watches it, or if 13 million or 250 million people watch it, you still, because I'm not responsible for who watches it.
Yeah.
That I can't help you. I gave birth to it, and how it goes on to be successful, I can't have any say in that. I can't say, it's popular because I did it. No, it's like, it just so happened that they called you because it needed to be good. So they trusted that you would give it the like to have it.
So when 13 million people see it, they say, "Wow, that looks nice."
That's marketing.
It helps. Yeah,
I get it. So with that part, I'm super proud of the numbers. That's great. But I think that I've tried to, on purpose, not get too caught up in the numbers. It's great for people to click and see it, and it's great. But it doesn't put it. My kids still need the shoes. They hurt their knee, and I got to tend to them. I still sit in traffic. I can't let those 13 million views get me in the emergency lane. But officer, I got the video is 13 million views. Because some people, 13 million is like, okay, yeah, good job. Some people, 13 million is like, damn, that's crazy. But so you can't put any value on that. Yeah. So just do the work, keep your nose to the grindstone, and just have fun in the meantime, and try to make $1.
Nice.
You know.
What's next? Who is you? Like a lot of the stuff we've done together has revolved around music, from music videos to now like, songs, performance videos.
Yeah, I even when it comes to things that are more of broadcast based content, there's the autism show geared toward autism on the spectrum, which was nominated. Did I tell you? Yeah, I think I told you it was nominated for a regional Emmy award. Did I tell you that?
No. I didn't tell you told everybody now.
Okay, yeah.
So Bryan, we have this wonderful mutual relationship. We hire each other back and forth. Mm-hmm. And one of the projects that I've been excited to work with Bryan on is a show by
with Terry
Matthews. It's called On the Spectrum, and it's also podcasty. But if you have a kid that has autism, they're on the spectrum. Check out this YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, it's called On the Spectrum with Terry Matthews, and it's geared towards families or individuals who are caretakers or individuals with or caretakers of those with autism. And we talk about everything from education to clothing to do-it-yourself projects at home that you can do to engage children and young adults that have either sensory issues or tactile issues, or whether they're verbal or nonverbal. I've learned a lot because I don't know anyone with autism directly, like family members or anything, but I've grown so much in my wealth of understanding by being associated to the show, as with producing and directing it and editing it. I'm being reminded of such an industry of caretakers that I think it's remarkable. So I'm honored to be part of that in that journey with her.
I want a little toast to the caretakers out there.
Oh yeah, man. Big time. This one's for y'all.
Yeah, and people are going to take care of me at some point.
Yeah, so it's sometimes it's like refreshing to get away from some of the music-based content sometimes, like even with the Lonnie Hunter variety show.
Oh, variety show, that's fun. Lonnie Hunter, check it out.
Yeah, so with that one to have been, we shot a pilot, and pilot was solid.
Is it out there? Solid. Where can people see Lonnie Hunter?
Did you know, let me tell you this real quick before we touch into that. Did you know, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, if I didn't tell you that On the Spectrum was nominated for a regional Emmy, I probably didn't tell you that.
You probably did. It might be, I've sipped this too long.
The Lonnie Hunter pilot, we shot that one day, we shot 2 episodes. The Impact Television Network watched that, liked it, and they aired the pilot as the first 2 episodes of that 7-episode season.
Nice.
So that's why we went back and shot episodes 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6 and 7. So I was happy that our level of integrity went into that body of work just as a pilot, to just make it as good as we can make it, because if it was as good as I felt it could be, it would grow legs, and it did. So I'm super excited. And thank you again.
Yeah, who is you?
For me, growing up, I always had an understanding of who God was and who our Lord is. So for me, it was never a thing like I had to be taught. It was always understood. because it was taught young and you understand it, and it wasn't even a practice. It was just a matter of knowing and a matter of understanding. So as I've gotten older and I recognize the things that happen in your journey and whether they can be explained or not, you recognize without a doubt that there is so much more than just us and how we decide to move, how we decide to rotate, make things happen. Blah, blah, blah. It is like unbelievably refreshing to know. That is when I'm just so trying to pat it down so it doesn't go away.
Unbelievable.
Just right here. Yes, it's phenomenal. And the more you get exposed to it, the more you grow to understand, the more you realize that it's a great relationship that I think everybody needs to explore. And if you don't explore, you don't have it, that's fine.
Relationship with who?
With God.
With God. Got other names for him, or?
Sure.
Him or her, or it.
I came up to understand that it was a him, but I think it comes really down to beliefs, because when it comes down to so many other religions, we all seem to have the same kind of, it goes back to one God. We just call him different things and worship him or her in different ways, but there's always an enemy. So it's kind of like, okay, so you may choose to speak French, or we speak English and you may speak German, but we're all communicating these same facts and thoughts and ideas of politics and family and education. We just have different ways of getting the message, just like people have different ways of downloading what they need to get through. So I give them their space, and you believe what you believe, and I'll believe what I believe, and we can agree to not agree, but I'm going to do me, and this is how we gonna do it.
So, your relationship, how would you define your relationship, past, present, future?
I'm so glad that we serve a forgiving God.
That look is like like we're both parents, with fathers.
Yeah.
And
yeah, man.
You see your kids try to get away with stuff, and you're like, oh man, that's me still.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get away with stuff.
Yeah. So,
what's that mean? What's that mean? What's forgiveness mean to you? Like, what does it mean? Go deep, man.
I don't think that anybody is perfect. Nobody walking this earth's surface is. So with that, yeah, you try to do right. You try to, walk right, speak right. I oftentimes try to keep the Lord in my mouth at all times, whether it's something that I'm doing, having a conversation with somebody, or if it's doing a random act of kindness. That is when you can truly just be a blessing to someone else, or be an angel to someone, and just touch their life and keep moving, where it's not about you. You feel like, oftentimes for me, I act in the role of being just responsible. When I hear his voice and I act on it, I just got to be obedient to whether it's something that I want to do, whether it's convenient or inconvenient. I know that I've got to be obedient. And in that, I just got to remove myself. That's how it also comes down to the art when it comes to production. When somebody says, I want you to hear the song and tell me what you think, I'm like, yo, man, that's a spirit space for me. I can't just expose myself to just everybody's music or song or project, because it comes from a place that I know takes a lot out of me, and I have to download that and just get out of the way and just allow. So when God is downloading that to me, and it's never buffering, it never gets hung up, and that's how I know it's him, but I can't give that and share that with everybody,
What you said when you hear the voice, what's the weirdest thing the voice told you to do, or give me an example of that?
To do or not do that can take a second, because we have conversations just like it would be a conversation with a person, and it's not like, I can tell you what it's not. It's not me listening to myself in silence. It's not saying, what do I think about that? Well, I think that it's not me, because that voice is the voice comes in a calm, where it's no sound, it's not an energy, but you gotta practice learning how to hear it. You know how you practice certain things to get better? You just gotta be exposed to it often enough to be like, sometimes kind of like you just sit back and it's like, so many times you just gotta know when you hear it. So for me, it's soundless and it's boundless and it's a feeling, not a sound by any means. Yeah.
And what's it? Does it tell you to do things or not do things?
Oh yeah, that was the original question.
Yeah. This energy.
No, sometimes it'll be more affirmation to me. It's kind of like, is this the way to go? Is this how I should do it? Or how do you feel I should handle this? Or this situation came up, here are all of the facts, and sometimes it'll come. It's never a thing of like good or bad, do or don't do. It's, you have your own conscience for that. If you need the Lord to tell you don't do this, then you just you're already out of pocket. So just back your ass up and just regroup. And only call them when you need them. You don't call your parents for everything. Yeah. You call them when you feel like it's more than when you gotta,
Maybe there's some weeks you need to call more often.
Sometimes you need to make that long distance call. Sometimes, but it's not a long distance call. Actually, it's like he's already right there. You don't gotta call. It's not a call.
It's for me. I think it's that idea of that he's always around. Sometimes sometimes when I'll be doing those things, I might shut the door and be like, I'm going now. Come on now. Talk around. Look the other way. Look the other way.
That's why I'm glad we serve a forgiving God. Yeah.
Look the other way. I'm looking at somebody.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you tell me.
It's a blessing to do the work we do with some of these gospel artists, and just being this spirit that's guiding toward the right place. Now, let me ask you a question, because there's, in my history in the church, there have been some people who have been these vehicles for blessing other people who have gone off the rails.
Because they're people too, which we touched on. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're people too. And
people like gospel artists that we've worked with have had their moment in the paper for the wrong reason.
Yeah, and the thing is sometimes too is like people have, like, there's one recording artist who had a great year in 2018. 2019 faced so many personal challenges of relationship fell apart, started a new one, that dissolved, lost a parent. Meanwhile, nominated for award after award, like song charting on Billboard, but in your personal life you have it. So it's kind of like, that doesn't add up. Like, you're doing all of these good things, and it appears to be good things, wanting to just usher in the spirit of other people and be a beacon for others. But you got all that turmoil for real? So you're going to get up there and sing to help other people and you hurting? It's kind of like, it's kind of crazy. It's humbling. But to see people also fall off the rails to some things that they did themselves, then it's kind of like, ooh, you got that water cloudy? Like, oh man, so it's difficult to have faith in a person like that. Yeah. That's why you can't go people worshiping. Yeah. You gotta be able to look at that person as though they have unique talent. You have a great job. That's your role, and that's what it is. I can't look at you and go, oh, it's you, because when that person disappoints you, whose fault is that? Like,
you lead me to Jesus, so I'm gonna follow you.
You're the next best thing. It's like, no, because me and these groupies about to go get it popping in the basement of the church, and that happens. Yeah. It's like, sometimes even when like propositions come up, and you get tested. Yeah, I've seen people fail tests. Yeah, and it's it's kind of like, well, you're human.
I have failed tests.
Yeah, we test it all the time. Yeah. Watch me fix the TV. Watch how Johnny Walker can fix it. Watch
it.
No, watch it. Just watch. Magic trick. Boom! Johnny Walker is working miracles.
Hey, a little shout out. Speaking of things that I did so well, that I didn't do God did so well, is I want to thank my beautiful wife for sending this beautiful collection. It's been feeding,
nurturing souls, stomachs and souls.
People in front of the camera, behind the camera. Thank you, Meg.
How has your life? How has your life?
Thanks for sharing him tonight, the kids.
How has your life changed with your relationship with him and your wife? Because there was a time when you had a relationship with him, but not your wife. So how does that trifecta now work? because it's 3 of us in our house, and we acknowledge that. It's me and Tamara, and it's him.
Yeah. I mean, like the cool side is that I was thinking about this today because we just put a video system in our church, and I've been kind of helping them, get the technology right in order to start implementing video because content.
Right.
And I asked Meg to come sit with me up in this like kind of like lonely place next to the technology because I'm like I want to be. And she's like, I want to be downstairs. I'm like, I want to be downstairs with all the people too, But
the VIP section's upstairs, babe.
No, not the VIP. It's like there's like cables over here. There's like wires. She's like, it's messy up here.
But the higher you go, you're closer to Jesus.
I want to tell her that.
Yeah, it works, man.
I'm close. No, I'm not Jesus. But so there's this give and take. I think that like having family, committing to family is a very fascinating thing. Because I look at Jesus and I say, all right, he committed to me. He laid down his life. He sacrificed everything for me. Am I willing to go there for my wife? And there's it's a relationship with 2 imperfect people trying to figure out how to live together, merge life, especially in production. Oh my word, it's like the hours and I'm gone, whatever.
Yeah,
so
we're
still
time it takes,
been married for 12 years, and we're still figuring out how to be one and not be 2 people that share bank accounts and occasionally a date. So I think there's still some like working out to do.
Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
I think that like being in a committed relationship where you have to practice love.
There's the P word.
Practice love. That is one of those things where you have to when a marriage fails, and I think that there's a lot of weight, on saying there's a lot of weight on people to say. I've never been through this, but when I see it, I see like a lot of weight in this connection that doesn't go away. You know what I mean? And I think once you have that connection, like trying to work on it so it doesn't go away. Whether because we're going to be with each other forever, hopefully. Yeah. To kind of like make sure the connection stays, and even getting past. Megan and I are both very independent people, and so finally getting to mesh and meld.
Finally, when those
that'll cogs. Be great. That'll be a great day.
That'll be a great day.
But yeah, but having the kids too is a very eye-opening thing to that how we read. The Father, Son, and us as adopted kids. Into the life of God. Like to me, that's interesting. I've never when we first started having kids, that's when I was like, wow, I really see that the possibility of what love and fatherhood should be like. I don't match up to it.
Right. So how did you manage?
Who's interviewing who here?
The public's learning. The public is learning. So the thing when it comes down to your relationship with God and then your relationship with those people who you would allow to get close to you when you were single. How you like how I phrased that? Oh, when you were single.
The girls I was hooking up with?
Yeah. Well, we can't leave it to Kevin. So yeah, I was trying to,
No, be real.
So when you were single, getting it popping.
Yeah.
And you knew you shouldn't have really been having either premarital sex or everything else that falls under that.
Yeah.
Did that play into your scope of Christianity? And
I'll be real.
You need to. That's what the show's about.
The girls that I believe the girls that I went really far with.
Yeah. You mean okay? Yeah, so I'm about to say like third base,
sexually,
and home.
Yeah, well, I'll get into all that, but those girls pop up often in my imagination.
Oh, got it. As of post-marriage,
just
in the windmill of your mind.
In the windmill of your mind, and I think that there's something like when you have that sexual encounter.
Do you feel like you need to dampen it down?
What do you mean dampen it?
Like
What we're talking about sexual?
Like the idea of the reoccurring thought. Do you need to
dampen and moist?
Put it back? Do you need to like push it back, or do you feel like you need to just not have it because it's not healthy?
I need to walk away, and not have it. I'm not sure how to get rid of it. You know, you got a method for that? Or what's your back
for my
question mirror back to you? Question bounces off me back to you. What's your response?
Like
to
then
all
and
that?
now, I think that for me, when I was single, I didn't allow just anybody close to me. It's like, sure you have an opportunity to, but it would take a lot for me to just like let myself get open enough to somebody to let them into me that intimately, like actively intimate, because you could be with anybody anytime. Yeah. The physical part is easy to do, but you can't just be spreading yourself like that. You get worn out. You get burnt out like that. So
or numb.
Yeah, and you can just become, like one-dimensional and just becomes not cool anymore. Because for me, that's the interaction. So for me, that divide was a lot easier for me because it happened, and when it dies down and you go on to the next thing, you enjoy all of what that brought, and you can leave it where it is and carry all of the good things into the next one. Like, okay, this is what worked in that one. Here's what I'm hoping works with this one, but you're gonna come with this and that, so let's work it out. And I'm not trying to make a Frankenstein person, and I'm not gonna expect you to be what this was or what it wasn't.
Yeah.
But you harness some of those things, and it helps you grow. But you can't project that onto another person. Like, I've tried not to. But when it comes to like recurring thoughts, it's too many bitches to keep up with, Kev.
Yeah.
So no, I'm so joking. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, but yeah, you just gotta compartmentalize. For me, yes, compartmentalize. Focus on what's in front of you, and whatever does it for you, turns you on, and has you get it, then focus on that.
You always, ever since we met, you've always had this like positivity flowing from you. Is that 100% you, or is some of that the you that you put out there to encourage yourself to be positive and always like what is that always out there? Go back. Bryan, if you ever get a chance to work on a crew with Bryan directing, and like especially on like one of these live shows where all got headphones in,
right,
and you just like focus the right way, Bryan will be like, woo! Oh my word, Kev!
I'm like, Kev, you killing it. I remember somebody chimed in and was like, Art, I'm jealous you're not shouting at me like that. But I was like, well, if you kick ass, you get a holler too. But
so that positivity,
the positivity
is it always there, or is it sometimes you're hiding something?
I honestly think that it's always there.
Yeah.
Honestly, because there's enough stuff to not be happy about. Yeah. So when you are in a production environment, yo, bro, I could be riding on the back of a truck helping communities recycle.
Yeah.
That's a cool ass job when it's not hot outside or it's not super cold.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to be doing that as a full-time thing around the clock. Shout out to those who do, but I wouldn't want to do that when it's too hot outside or too cold outside. But I'd rather. So if you see me on a production, oh, Bryan is in his best. I'm in my element, and I don't do anything else. I don't work anywhere else.
Well, have you ever lost it? Have you ever completely like lost it? Rage.
I was on Beloved.
Oh.
As beautiful as that experience was, it was one day surrounded by celebrity. It is what it is. It was very hot one day. I was so hot that I didn't care who was who, what we were shooting, how big the budget was. I was so uncomfortable that day. I went over to craft services where the actors were, the extras are in their holding area, and I sat there. I sat down, took the walkie off, and was like, should I go home? And then I was like, if I go home, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life. Yeah. So I just shut up and I went back out there. But that was, in that moment, I was aware of how uncomfortable I was. And
that's the worst you got. That's the worst you got. Like, you sat down for a second.
Yo, bro. I sat down for a second. And
the Lord, positivity,
the
man.
The Lord said, I brought you all this. He said, I brought you all this way, and you about to get in your own way. I ain't looked back. I haven't sat down. You notice on shoots, I don't sit down. He brought me too far, too fast, without too many hiccups, to have me act like I have anything to do with any of that. So if I sit my ass down, that's your fault. But he's the one who's keeping me standing, and I mean that in more ways than one. So with that said, I haven't sat down yet, bro.
Straight wow, man, we do it here.
Seriously. Like, yeah, so that positivity is like, yo, I don't have to sit down. I shoot every day. If I'm not shooting something, I'm editing. If I'm not editing, I have to do this. But it's all production oriented. And if it's not that, it's family oriented. Yeah. I don't have a string of skeletons in my closet. I don't drink excessively. I don't do drugs. I don't gamble. It's like, are you boring? It's like, no, I get it popping. I got celebrity friends. I go to fancy events. I go to award shows. But when I'm in a supermarket, you don't know I was just at the Grammys last week. Yeah. Or you don't know I just came back from Nashville from the Double Awards. It's like, it doesn't matter, because when those lights come up and everybody's going and they roll up their red carpet, your ass is back in Philly. Yeah. Back on the next shoot, sitting down with Kevin. Kev, what you into? What equipment do you want on your hit list? What do you want for Christmas? Like, what are the kids into? We got to take them working to
You get me Christmas gifts?
It's just a conversation, Kevin. So it's like, so you got to compartmentalize it.
I'll send you the wish list if you want.
Yeah, you can send it to me and I will forward that along right to Derek. I will say, hey D, I don't know if you got the memo on
it. But you do have Kevin's credit card, so
yeah, well that's new information. So yeah. So with that said,
Derek, do not be taking calls from Bryan anymore.
There's some prime lenses.
My credit card number.
There's some prime lenses out, some cine lenses I got my eye on. But
no.
So yeah.
No, say no.
So but I think that at the same time, I think so when it comes down to being led, that's why Gifted Entertainment is the name of the production company, because it is a gift and it is a blessing. And with the positivity.
I thought because you were like in the gifted program at school. That's what.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother story. I just barely made it out of school, but no, I'm just joking. No, but
we're gonna talk to a college dropout on the show later, but
okay, all right, yeah, because college isn't for everybody. I graduated from Howard University and milked it for all it had to offer, but yeah, I mean, schooling's not for everybody. Yeah,
Howard,
not for everybody.
Nice, cool.
Go HU, man.
Well, man, this is good, man.
It was very good. Very, very. Shout out to Patreon followers. Thank you for the support, people. Not me, supporting him and his ministry.
Supporting this. Yeah, supporting, like, people laughing at each other. People being real. Like, that's what it's about. Like, finding those moments where, like, where you hear a voice, and the voice might be someone else saying, "Kind of fuck up."
Yeah, right. Because, yo, when I tell you I was uncomfortable, man, I was not having a good day. I didn't care. Yeah. I didn't care about anybody. I was like, yo, Oprah, I don't care. So what? And it was kind of like, okay, you know what? My career is just getting started.
Yeah, yeah.
And here I am, I'm like, yo, you know how many people would love to have been able to sweep up the dead birds in the Civic Center and fill up dumpsters and get donuts for the Teamsters?
Sign me up for the dead birds, man. I can't get enough.
Well, it's not
dead crows and sparrows.
It's not 19 whenever anymore.
Finches.
Bro. Yeah, I'm not.
Dead finches.
I'm not
like they're
sweeping up anything
wonderful.
except studio floors. That's it. But it's been a great journey.
Check this out. That's a great story. I had this intern once. So we were part of this program. I had a producer on staff, and we were part of this program, and they would pay you to take interns. You're like $2,000 a semester, and you have to just make this kid, follow you around on shoots. And we're getting paid by this program to have this intern on our.
$2,000 per child, per person?
Per person for like 6 months.
Man, listen. I got them prime lenses I want. No.
So check it out. My producer said,
this is at
came
GK?
to me. GK, yeah, when I had the studio.
Okay.
Came to me one day and said, I don't want this guy around anymore. And I'm like, we're about to fire an intern
that we're being
who's paying us.
Just reduce his hours. That's what you do.
Yeah. And he's like, it's not worth it. He's like, this money is not worth it. And I'm like, he's like, if you want him, You keep him around.
And that person is...
That day we had... we're turning the studio into a casting session.
Okay.
And I go down, and we got to, like, sweep the floors.
Yeah.
We got to put up a camera. And I started kind of directing, like, him and another intern around. And this one guy was just, like, he was, like, sweeping the floor. And he was doing it. And the other kid's just standing there. And I'm like, are you going to help?
Yeah.
Can you grab the broom, or can you grab those apple boxes and move them over here, those chairs and table? Mm-hmm. And he was just so
I would love to have had my hands on him. Not wanted,
just didn't have the... He wasn't even sitting down, but he was just standing, like still.
Yeah.
Like a statue. And I started a conversation with him. I'm like, hey, sorry, you've been here for, 3 or 4 days. I'm just getting to know you. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. What's your job? He's like, I want to produce later on.
Okay.
Like, all right, cool.
You're doing the perfect. You're acting like a producer right
now. I said to him,
perfect. You can stay. Trust me, we're grooming them perfectly.
I told the intern who was working hard,
yeah,
like just show him up. I was like, can I see the broom? I handed it to him. I'm like, I want you to produce a clean floor. Because as a producer, you're going to have to do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And you don't always have to go through the janitorial broom route like you and I did.
Don't, yeah, but that's what that character is built.
But you have to be ready. Someone's got to do it.
Somebody has to do it.
And you got to lead. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, he did 3/4 of the floor, you do the other quarter. And then we were setting up, like, I set up the camera, and I said, hey, during the casting session, you're going to be responsible for just, rolling the camera, panning and tilting, just framing up.
Yeah.
It's an easy job. And it's like, and he sat in this chair, like 20 feet from the camera. And I said to him, like, your job, I just told you your job.
Yeah.
And your job is not over there.
Right.
Your job is here. So I don't care if you sit. Yeah. That's fine.
That's what you do.
But walk towards your destiny.
Right. Come here.
And that day, I went up to my producers on staff. I was like, yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, we this guy's he's just gonna be around. He's gonna get in the way.
Yeah.
That $2,000 is gonna cost us 10.
Yeah, more than yeah.
Yeah. So sorry if you're watching this. Sorry.
What became of the kid?
Well, he didn't come back to my office anymore. Okay. Stand around.
So much for that. Yeah, I like being able to school young people. I think young people and getting into entertainment now, things are a lot. The landscape is a lot different.
Words.
So
Crazy
I think that there's some good and some not so good for them as a result of that. But I love being able to watch young people get in and jump in the trenches. You can easily identify which ones want it and which ones are going to get it versus the ones who do it because they think it's cool.
And it's cool. It's totally cool. And this kid may have like said, I don't want to sweep a floor. Mm-hmm. This guy's only going to go so far. I want to go pick a different path. Maybe he did. Maybe he's in LA producing like his dream job was. Mm-hmm.
20 feet from the camera.
20. There's a door. He's got 20 feet from it. Right. He's go through that door. Right. Like sometimes I got to go through that door too. I got to keep my career going toward the destiny.
How much of that is led by the Lord?
A lot. This I feel is I heard a voice telling me to do some things that have led to this.
What does it sound like?
I need to do more listening. I need the couple times I've heard it it's been repeat. I'm a slow learner, and it's had to repeat a couple times in a row for me to be like, okay, I'll try it, and I do it, and all of a sudden it flows, or it feels
you know when it's right.
Impossible things happen. When I hear repeating, it's because I'm not.
He just said impossible things happen.
I'm not listening. When I hear that voice, I'm not. It's mean I haven't been listening. I haven't been walking and talking and listening, and it typically says like, no, just do this. Mm-hmm. Just do this. Mm-hmm. And those times, things have happened that have kind of blown my mind. Mm-hmm. And
see, look what happens when you listen.
Yeah. Thanks.
When you identify that voice, just keep listening. Don't change.
Thanks for listening.